Mm, uh, Good morning, everyone. Today, we are here to present our CRM plan entitled Coastal Management Plan, Threats and Issues Found in Barangay Mariki, Zamboanga City. To formally start the presentations, let me introduce to you my colleagues. By the way, I am Narshima Abdulhalim together with Miss Enciso Cristel, Mr. Montashir Karim, and Mr. Muhammad Nasul Sabtal. And now for the introduction, here is Montashir Karim.
So let's start with the background of this study. Mariki is a barangay in the city of Zamboanga in the British. The census was 6,310. This represented of 0.65% of the total population of Zamboanga City. Mariki is situated at approximately 6.8967 and island of Mindanao. Elevation at these coordinates is estimated feet above mean sea level, according to Phil Atlas. Next. So now let's move on with the objectives. The primary objective of this study is to identify the major problems found in Barangay Mariki to ensure coastal area. So we have three specific objectives. So first is to minimize the possible impact of existing threats and issues. Second is to help impose regulation on existing issues relating to coastal area. And lastly, help strengthen current laws in order to protect coastal resources. Next slide. Next is the significance of this study. The CRM plan will be beneficial to the following stakeholders. First, the local government unit. Second, Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources. Third, the fisherfolk, and lastly, the resident. For the scope and the limitation, the scope and coverage of the CRM plan is limited to the Barangay Mariki, Zamboanga City. This CRM plan was focused to identify the threats and issues found in barangay with a total number only for 3 days. So for the stakeholders, Crystal Joy and Enciso will be discussing it.
Okay, so now let us move on to the stakeholders. For the stakeholders of the CRM plan, for the high importance and low influence, we have here the NGOs, the non-governmental organizations, and also the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources, or also known as the BFAR. For the low importance and low influence, we have here the private sectors and the local authorities, fisherfolk. For coastal status of Marikina, Zamboanga City, according to PhilAtlas, Marikina is a barangay in the city of Zamboanga in the province of Zamboanga del Sur. Marikina is situated at approximately 6.8967 and 122.0913 in the island of Mindanao. Elevation at these coordinates is estimated at 3.8 meters or 12 feet above mean sea level. For the threats and issues, the major issues that we found in Barangay Marikina, Zamboanga City, for the ecology, we have here the water pollution, followed by coastal erosion and lack of garbage collector, as well as fishery resource depletion, and also the cutting of mangroves. Next, for socioeconomic, the major issues that we found in Barangay Mariki are the poverty, followed by insufficient alternative livelihood and population growth, unsustainable tourism, and the overfishing. For the governance, the major issues that we found in Barangay Mariki are inadequate enforcement of the law, followed by insufficient support from the local government, followed by lack in monitoring resources, and limited fishing equipment, as well as lack of collaboration. So now let us move on to the methodology. The location. We conducted this plan at Barangay Mariki, Zamboanga City, Zamboanga del Sur. Next, for instrument, the instrument that we use to conduct this CRM plan is through survey questionnaire answered by yes or no. For population, the respondents of this plan are the barangay officials, fisher folks, and residents of Barangay Mariki with a total of 30 respondents. For time frame, we conducted this plan in 3 days interval from April 6 to April 8. And for data collection, first, we gather information from the Barangay Mariki. Then second, we gather data by distributing the survey questionnaire. Then after that, the tabulation of data. Then lastly, the data interpretation. And for the data analysis, this data use descriptive statistics. The data gathered in this research was based from the statements of the respondents, the collected information subsequently and calculated. Next. For the cost requirements, the materials, we have here the survey questionnaires and the plastic envelope. And for the transportation back and forth, and for the meals, lunch, at total cost of 746 pesos. Next. So these are the survey form that we distribute at Barangay Mariki, Zamboanga City. And also this is the letter for Barangay Chairman. And for the result and discussion, here is Ms. Nushima Abdulhalim for further discuss.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Ms. Enciso. So, result and discussions. So, here's a demographic.
And for the result and discussion, here is Ms. Nushima Abdulhalim for further discuss.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Ms. Enciso. So, result and discussions. So, here's a demographic profile. We included the educational attainment of the respondents. So, as seen in the graph, it indicated that um, that 30% ng mga respondents namin is elementary lang yung na tapos nila, and then 10% for high school, and then 10% for college. And most of our respondent is wala silang educational attainment with a 50%. So, dito, we included yung demographic profile nila we included the educational attainment nila sa result and discussion namin. It is because that um, um, this educational attainment affect the major issues na nahanap namin sa barangay nila. It is because that um isa sa mga main reason ng poverty sa lugar nila is yung lack of livelihood, or wala silang mga trabaho. And most of them is nagre-rely lang sila sa aquatic resources. And yun nga, 50% of the respondents of this CRM were no educational attainment. So, kung maghahanap man sila ng ng trabaho, hindi siya enough sa qualification sa education qualification ng trabaho dito sa Pilipinas. So, sa next. So, dito sa ecological issues, so as seen sa graph, it indicated na yung major problem sa ecological issues namin is yung water pollution. Next. And then for the socio-economic, the major issues found in Marikina is yung poverty. So, as seen in the graph, poverty got the highest response from the respondents. Next. And then sa governance, so yung major issues naman sa governance is the lack of enforcement of law. And next, for the problem 3. Problem 3, the driver in ecological issues are the domestic sewage and other solid waste from the household. So the effects of this is the water pollutions in the barangay. Then the core problem of this is the improper waste disposal or poor waste management. So this will cause the water turbidity. So next, for the socio-economic, the driver for this is the unemployment or lack of alternative livelihood. The effects of this will be the poverty in the barangays Marikina. The core problem will be the lack of or untargeted assistance. Causes is lack of economic support. And then for the governance, the driver for this is the weak political culture that affect to inadequate enforcements of law. So the core problem of this is an inactive government or unproductive government. And this will also caused by the lack of support or funding operations from the government. And then for the vision, here is Muhammad Nasul Sabtan. Okay na sa topic. Wala na.
Again, thank you so much, Ms. Abdulhalim. So here are the visions of the plans. A community that upholds stringent laws in relation to water pollution and coastal law remains socially active and financially successful. Provides strategic action for the development of coastal communities. Major enforcement of the law, proper segregation of household waste, reduce poverty rate by promoting alternative livelihood to increase job growth. Next, please. The following are the goal, objective, indicator, and benchmark of the plan. For ecological, here are the goals, objective, indicator, and benchmark. For the goal is to promote a healthy aquatic ecosystem through proper segregation of waste disposal to reduce pollution. For objective is to properly segregate of household waste and continuous monitoring on waste segregation. Indicator is the water turbidity. So for the benchmark is to lessen water turbidity. And for socioeconomic, for the goal is to lessen poverty rate by promoting alternative livelihood to the fisher folk. The objective is to increase and access existing livelihood opportunities. An indicator, the number of the fisher folk employed alternative livelihoods. And the percent of the residents of Barangay Mariki involved in livelihood other than fishing. And for the governance, the goal is to develop illegal monitoring and enforcement to ensure compliance with sustainable resources management plan. And the objective is to monitor aquatic ecosystem and enforce regulations for the sustainable management of coastal resources. For indicator is the number of the illegal fishing. And for benchmark is to reduce the number of cases of illegal activities by upcoming 2025. Next, please. Here are the action plan towards the issues of the certain barangay. For ecological is to conduct a meeting with the community. The second is to raise public awareness and advocacy. Third one is encourage residents to recycle waste. And for the fourth is a strict implementation of proper waste disposal. And for socio-economic, we conduct a livelihood assistance program for the fisher folk. Second is make a social preparations to involve project recipients and stakeholders. And here are the good governance, conduct regular patrols. Second, roll out an updated policy about illegal activities in coastal resources. Third is create updated guidelines for prohibited activities in coastal area. Next, please. Here are the conclusions of the plan. The Barangay Mariki is surrounded by water, and most of the livelihood of the residents rely on coastal resources, leading to water pollution, poverty, and lack of enforcement. So this CRM plan concludes that the major issues found in the barangay are due to the unemployment, lack of education, and inactive personnel. Unemployment is the reason why residents of Barangay Mariki experience poverty, as a result in a lost income for many families, as well as the lack of education, which people cannot apply for jobs due to the educational qualifications needed. If these threats and issues are addressed appropriately, the management plan can aid in the preservation and sustainability of the coastal resources, protection and biodiversity, and the promotion of economic development. Next, please. The recommendations, the following are, first is stakeholders in the community should conduct a different activities that will prevent or reduce the water pollution in the barangay. Second, LGU must develop and implement a plan to manage coastal resources. Third, stakeholders should provide a livelihood program for residents of Barangay Mariki. And fourth, local government units often conduct a general meeting or orientation to discuss issues in a certain community. Fifth, the local, conduct irregular assessments of coastal resources to identify threats and prioritize conservation measures. Six, engage the community and stakeholders in coastal resources management. Next, please. The references. And here are the documentations proving that we had done the um, survey in the certain barangays. Next, please. So thank you so much. I guess that's the end of our presentations. That's all. Thank you.